gentlemen, this video or these series of videos on how our equipment works. Okay? And it's gonna go a little bit fast. We'll watch them and then we'll talk about it, afterwards. So I'll pause it whenever I see something that's important for you to get out of it. Okay? But it's just to give you an idea how it is that the equipment that you're wearing for working at heights operates and works. Make sense? So let's watch. Lower the lights up. All right. So this one here will start. It's your follower's lanyard in operation. Okay. As a trainer, we gotta get a follower's lanyard, and we gotta jump out of this to make sure that what we're telling you guys is, we're not just telling you information that we haven't gone through and experimented. So, all right, so here we go. So, I'll pause it there. Follower's lanyard, right? Do you see how long that went from the top, right, from the ankle point where it's anchored, down to where it held the person? All right, guys? That's about 12 feet, okay? So he just fell 12 feet before this activated, right? The shock pack expands, right? And it activates. So, I want you guys to always keep in mind that your primary method of not falling in the ladder, working at heights, should always be your your fall restraint lanyard. Does that make sense? Because that right there is gonna brace your fall, but in a tower, you saw how that guy is dangling, and they call that the pendulum effect, right? This is an open tower, okay? In an actual wind turbine, that's just brackets. So if you fall down or you fall out of those brackets, you're swinging back in. And you're gonna hit all of these side brackets that are there. So always think about that. This is your last line of defense, so to speak. Does that make sense? To make sure that you don't fall, all the way down to the ground, okay? Alright, so now, these next videos are going to be about showing you equipment that has either not been inspected or has been misused. Okay? So, this right here is one of those slings that we used yesterday, right? To anchor the Milan, and has a little bit of a cut in it. Okay? So, let's see what happens. Completely broken. It did not function at the 22 kilonewton amount of force, right? Way less, and it tore up. Make sense? So why is that important to us? Well, if you don't have a good sling on there, and we by accident drop that person, that sling may not hold that individual right on the ladder. He might just go flying down with the entire Milan, right? And it's going to be a scary and a bad day for him or her, and then us too, as the rescue. Okay? So always keep in mind, check your equipment. So now you don't have to do a 2-hour inspection on it, but give it a good look over before you start using equipment that's going to be, or that's going to support somebody else's life. Make sense? All right, outstanding. Any questions? Comments? All right, good. All right, so this is the sling functioning there. All right, that is a 225-pound weight drop about 8 feet or so. Okay, works, functions, takes the force, it works. And then the carabiner on top as well. The deal? Alright, so this is a fall-arrest lanyard that has that had a fall or that was misused. Remember yesterday I told you the test to check both legs, make sure that they are even. So when I told you about if one leg is longer than the other one, somebody was probably misusing it. And let's say that's the fall, or that's the lanyard that you take your fall on. Let's see what may happen. Nothing. It did not catch. Right? Because that either shock pack or the bungee, because it has two mechanisms to arrest your fall. The bungee and then the shock pack. If you got the bungee section of it, right, it's been misused, it might not catch it. And then it's just gonna work like a static rope. So instead of taking, I don't know, 600 pounds of force in your body, you can take more than 1,800 pounds of force, and that's the threshold, guys, right? 900 pounds is what we want to keep it at, or less. But anything over 1,800 pounds of force through our body has been known to be catastrophic. Make sense? So use your equipment wisely. Don't misuse it, don't abuse it. That's all we're trying to show you here, okay? This is the lanyard or lanyard and functioning. Nice and smooth. Long drop, but it worked. Right? Alright, so this is your Glidelock fall arrest and functioning. So here's that. Let me pause it when you see the arm expanded. You guys see the arm? Right? So if you fall, it snaps out of the cam, and then the arm, as the metal expands, it slows you down a little bit, and you fall no more than 12 inches. All right, that's the intent. Okay, but remember, don't do like the guy that I told you about yesterday, right? That did not attach it onto the rail properly, and down 70 feet he went. Okay.
Do you know how and not to say that I'm asking to do it, but how do people cheat this thing? Like, what's the deal? Like,
yeah, well, like I said, he either by accident or purposely put the device, just the top portion on it.
Okay.
So the middle portion, right, the cam, right, that turns 90 degrees, he failed to insert it inside of the rail. So if that's not inserted, the entire mechanism, the entire bottom half is out. You just slid down. And he's thinking that the rope that I showed you, and I'll show you again, was holding his weight, which it was. But the perfect storm happened. That rope snapped, and down he went.
So if he would have, for instance, if he was up there and he just tested it and tried to put a little weight on it, he would have saw it slide. It would have just
That's
slid
right.
down, right?
That's right. That is correct. And that's what you should do, because that other rope is there. And I'll show you the concept. We'll go out there, we'll grab a rope grab, we'll attach it to you. You'll have that feeling what we're talking about. Because you're basically having two different devices on the same, on your chest, right? One, the Glidelock to keep you on the rail. The second one is the rope grab that's attached to that rope. And once you start that, it pulls you up slowly, and then you just ease yourself up the ladder. You see how difficult it is to, right? That's 24 feet of ladder. You're trying to do that for 300 feet, you're gonna get tired. It's taxing. So we built these systems that are called climb assists to just pull you up a little bit, right? Well, some guys think, or forgot, or purposely did not follow that those climb assists are just a mechanical advantage, nothing else. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And
you may see that a lot on like YouTube videos, guys there's one where guys has like a safety stick, and this device is just pulling him up kind of fast, and he's like, whee, Well, he is just on a climb assist. If that thing breaks, he'll go down, straight down.
Well, if it's just pulling them up, like what Brent was telling us, people will like put zip ties on the bottom or something, so it kind of tricks the system and it gets heavier and then pulls these slide guys up.
Yeah, people just do things that they should not be doing, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So don't be that guy.
No,
Don't be them. It's just not worth it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's a pretty bad injury. Yes, Luke.
Okay, so in terms of best practices, you're at the top of the tower, you need to go down. You're using a glide lock. In order to test the glide lock, would it be best practices to lock yourself in with the fall resist and then the 2 meter and then test it?
That's how you test it.
Yeah.
So having both of those locked in, test it, then hook yourself up to the climb assist,
That's right.
then disconnect yourself and then descend.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That is exactly how you do it. And everybody understands that. Right? So on the ground, your feet on the ground, you test it, great. Up there, 300 feet in the air, so absolutely. Secure yourself first, follow rest, work positioning, test it, then attach yourself with the climb assist and then walk it down. Because the climb assist also helps you come down as well, right? Although it doesn't provide as much help as it does when you're going up, there is a little bit of, right? It sustains your weight and it pulls you down and you come down nice and smooth, you know what I mean? But think about it. Most of us yesterday, including myself, we have a problem with the Glidelock, right? It latches, it latches, it latches. So that right there is a little open door, right? To get somebody to say, oh, this is annoying. I keep locking down, and as I'm going down on the Glidelock, on the climb assist, right? So I'm just not gonna use this, and I'm just gonna put all my weight on the climb assist. Well, you're risking your life, literally. Don't do that, right? It's annoying that it may catch every few feet, but you're alive, you're safe, you're not going anywhere. So you see where safety comes into play, where you're like, I can make a decision. Nobody's around me to see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna risk it. Well, that guy might have risked it. We don't know. Obviously, he's not speaking. We asked, but maybe he did it on purpose, and now we have he has the injuries to show for it. Does that make sense, guys?
So how
Safety's always a choice. That's why we even in the meeting you saw it. Safety's my choice. It is.
after the climb assist cycle?
6 months. Oh, you mean the climb assist, the rope, or the cable once a year? Once a year, and there's a pre-user inspection that has to be done every time you use it. So there is an operational where you start it, look at the rope as it's going up, and then go. The first guy checks it, and then everybody else can go.
Okay.
A good question. So, yep. By a competent person once a year, but always a pre-user inspection. So yes. Good? All right, good discussion, good discussion. Let's see what else. So that was your Glidelock. Let's see how it works. Let me see something. See if I take this off and you can hear the body. Alright, so let me go back on that one because that's a good one. Alright. On a ladder without a bolt going through it. So one of those, right? So right there, the ladder, you'll see it later in another test, but see what happened? Luckily, it held. And it held because the ladder is not connected, so the energy dissipated, so it didn't rip the step. But on those static, permanently attached ladders, it's going to rip the step off, and you'll see it later. Okay? So always use the step in the style or a reinforced rung. You guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. 3,000 pounds of force in a harness. That short of a distance, guys. All right, that was 1,400 kilos. That little drop a 225-pound weight. Alright, and that lanyard was not expanded all the way. It was maybe 3 feet tops. 3,000 pounds of force in your body. You see how doesn't matter the distance. So when you're using that work positioning lanyard, remember yesterday I kept telling you, pull the slack. Because when you're, for example, you guys are going on the outside of the ladder. So as you go outside and get in position, tighten it up. Okay? So that you don't fall too far. Because even if you fall a few feet, 2-3 feet, 3,000 pounds of force in your body. Anything over 1,800 pounds can be catastrophic. Keep that in mind, okay? Very good. So again, guys, this is not to get you, not to scare you. It's just to let you know, use your equipment properly. That's all. Okay? These are good. So that's that Glidelock working properly. This is a cab lock, not used in the United States. Alright, I'm going to pause it there. Not used in the United States because it expands more than 12 inches from the point of attachment to the point where it's anchored. Okay? So in the US, even though it slows down your fall, right, and arrests it really nice, it's more than 12 inches, and the American standard ANSI requires it to be less than 12 inches, or 12 inches or less. Make sense? So we cannot use this device in the United States, according to ANSI, okay? Next one is lat safe. Oh, yeah, cab locks have a carabiner that if you don't attach it, it's a little thin rope and it'll break, or a cable, it'll break, and so now the lat safe. European lat safe. You can't use these in the US. Ladder, reinforced. That ain't complete 6-foot drop. It helps. That's what could happen if you don't use it properly. Yep. The style. So what happened there, guys? On this one here, same test, right? But what did you notice?
Clipped it around the other
Right. So when he clipped it, the gate away, the gate kind of opened, right? It held, but it snapped open. You clipped it towards you put the energy of the fall to the outside where there's no gate, the gate is completely intact. All right? So little best practice kind of thing there, okay? Make sense? Nice and smooth. Okay. The reason why we use breakaways, okay, is this right here. Okay? And then we can talk about it. But why I tell you to keep your followers lanyards on your breakaways, it's because of this. Everybody get it? Does it make sense in your head? Alright? So first test, anchored at the same level. Leg A is working against leg B. Leg B is working against leg A. So nothing happened. It's just like a static rope. Right? And you took about 800 and something kilos, right? Of force in your body. Now, you anchor them at different levels, right? Just one leg holds you properly, no problem. That make sense? That's the reason for the breakaways. Got it? That's the reason for the breakaways. Alright? It's the SRL. This is what you guys are going to use today as your backup when you evacuate out of the tower. Alright? I will put this on you, and in case the alarm fails, this will catch you. Okay? This is usually used in offshore, and in some projects like heavy lifts when they have to go out to the shroud and whatnot. And it's just a retractable cable that follows you, and if it starts going at a certain speed, it catches, so it prevents a person from falling. Okay?
Okay. Let me try this out first. In terms of weight distribution, when you're locking yourself in, does it make sense to be locked so if you're on a ladder, be locked into both the left and the right side to evenly distribute the weight in case of a fall? Like, would that change if you were just locked into both right sides of the ladder?
With what devices are you?
The fall resist lanyard and then the 2 meter.
The work.
Yeah, well, think about this, right? If you have, let's try to use my drawing skills, which are not very good. All right. All right. So you're saying you put your follower's lanyard here, right? And then you put your work positioning lanyard over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right here in the center. Right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
And you're asking if I then move this to this side, does it matter?
Yes.
Right?
In the case of a fall or even just like working in general.
It does not matter. Right? Why? Because your entire weight is on the work positioning lanyard, right? If you're using it properly, right? The first one to catch you in case of a fall is gonna be this one. Because you have it, you're using it properly, you have it nice and taut, right?
Okay.
So what's gonna happen is I'm here, in my work positioning lanyard here, I'm just gonna go to the right a little bit. If for some reason that one fails, or I don't have it attacked properly, and I fall, I'm gonna fall that great distance, right, at least the 12 feet, to the right. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense? This one here is just a backup. There's no weight on it, you're not like leaning on it, you're not resting on it, any of that. All of your weight is on your 2 meter. Does that make sense? You're not using the work positioning lanyard for anything other than just being there to be your backup.
Okay. Yes. I understand what I did wrong yesterday.
So that's that. Now, it may be where you're like, you have it maxed out and you lean a little bit on it, but that's just gonna be, It should not be a permanent thing. You wanna work on the ladder permanently, your entire weight's gonna be on that too, on that work positioning line.
Okay, yeah,
Does
alright.
that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool deal. Alright, let's go to the next one. I'm gonna discuss the slings again. Yeah. See how small that was? But it was compromised. Alright, choking these slings. Don't choke them. Don't choke them. Alright, everybody knows what I mean by choking?
Too tight?
It's kind of hard. I should have one. But you have a, let's see if I use my charger here. Alright. So you choke it. It's kind of like when you tie a knot. Meaning that there's friction created within the knot. Does that make sense? So what do I mean by that? You take this around. Say this is the sling, right? And then let's say it's just closed like a sling, right? And I do this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right? What happens is, if I pull this out, there's friction creating sling on sling, and they are made of polyester and nylon, and that creates incredible amounts of heat instantly, and it slices through it like butter. So what you do with these is, remember yesterday I was telling you, wrap around it. So all you do is just, you keep going around and around, and then clip them along in on both ends. Does that make sense? That's how we do it. Just like I was telling you to do yesterday. What they're telling you here is don't choke them. Okay? Not these types of slings. Completely charred. Yeah. Always close your carabiners. That is a 26 kilometer carabiner that just got sliced open by a small little 6 foot, 225 pound drop because the carabiner was open. Okay? And we made that mistake yesterday. We're putting around, we get distracted, and the gate stays open, right? Always ensure your gates are closed. Ensure it. All right, make sure you hear the snap. That's it. And then today, we're gonna practice something similar to this. We're gonna use that Milan. We're gonna transfer the weight from the platform to the evacuation device. And then this one is 2 people are allowed to evacuate off the same rope. That's a pretty smooth drop, guys. That's not super fast, that's not slow. That's just a nice, steady drop. You guys remember the speed?
3 feet a second?
3 feet a second.
Yeah, 3 feet per second. Very good. Watch how they hit the ground. Nice and easy. Okay? They don't drop, they don't slam. It's a steady, nice, consistent drop. Alright, and that's the repeat. Okay. So I showed you what we're gonna do today, alright? Right now, I'm gonna practice evacuations, and then you guys just learned how to, or saw why it is important to use your equipment properly, okay? Any questions? Yes,
So
sir.
is the evacuation gonna be done with a dummy or another person?
It's just single, because of COVID, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, we were doing doubles like that, but we only can do singles.
Yeah, and we're doing it. Yeah, not that.
Yeah, you're evacuating out yourself.
We're going
Okay,
out.
just one.
Oh, yeah. Any questions? Comments, concerns? No? Alright guys, it's 09. Let's get, I want you guys to go out to the bay. And I am looking at starting at 0920. What that's gonna give you time is to do your pre-user inspection on your equipment. And I want you guys to stretch, take some time to stretch. Alright, we're not climbing super high, but I do have to give you some time to stretch. So we can regroup and meet up again at 0920. Alright, right where we were at yesterday. And then we can get started with our day.